Good morning. Welcome to Women's Voice, our online platform for women rights initiative. This platform is aimed to have an in-depth discussion on issues affecting our communities and and also hearing the different perspectives on the issues affecting their communities. My name is Namlondo Jacqueline, and I'll be the moderator of this episode. Here in studio, we have our guest. I think she will introduce herself.
Hello everyone. Um, I'm so humbled to be here. My name is Tamizang Betty Irene. I work with Integrated Disabled Women Activities as the Section Reproductive Health Rights Officer, and also with an organization called Women with Albinism Association as the Human Rights and Advocacy Officer. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Welcome, Betty. Today's topic is going to be GBV and its impact on women with disabilities, and I'll just dig into it. So, Betty, what is your understanding on violence on the context of women with disabilities?
Okay, thank you so much. Violence. Violence cuts across. So violence refers to the use of force or power to harm another person. When we talk about violence, it cuts across. It affects a person with disability and those without a disability. But when you talked about women and disability, now we categorize it to gender-based violence. Now this is the force or the power to harm another person, targeting now the women, targeting a category of people. And as a woman back then, leave alone right now that different organizations have come up to advocate for the rights of women. Back then, a woman was not allowed to do anything, to say anything. And when it comes to a person with disability, this person suffers double discrimination. You're discriminated as a woman, and now to make it worse, you're a person with disability. It worsens the situation. And when we look at violence, there are types of violences. There is what we call the direct. This one that looks at the physical. These people are battered. These people are beaten. And looking at a person with disability, they're vulnerable. You, without a disability, there is a way you can fight when you can fight for yourself. But this person cannot, looking at a person with physical disability, cannot fight. So anything that comes, this attacks. A person with hearing impairment cannot talk, cannot hear what is really going on. Someone can stage a battle against this person well looking, but is not understanding what is going on. And when we look at the different forms of violence, we have the sexual violence, where these people with disability, someone comes and picks you from your home, takes you, uses you, dumps you there. Is someone with a visual impairment. Someone will come in the name of helping you, but will carry you, take you somewhere. Before you know it, someone is using you. Someone with a hearing impairment will not make alarm, will not fight, but you're getting the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is how I understand about violence and disability. Thank you.
So, briefly, you're trying to describe the relationship between disability and domestic violence.
Yeah, disability and domestic violence intersect. Why do I say so? Given the nature of a person with disability, they are vulnerable. So when it comes, it hits them. But still, why do they relate that the domestic violence causes disability? Some domestic violence acts cause disability. That's why I say that they inter. Because when you're beaten, at the end of the day, we've seen people being beaten. I've interacted with women with disabilities, but they will tell you that my husband plucked my eye, their limbs have been chopped off, and someone says my husband chopped. It was a fight. It started as a fight, and someone chopped me. And now, are you now seeing how the violence has now led to disability? And because this person cannot fight, cannot run away, when someone comes, is already is prone to disability. So they intersect. Yeah. And
So
even when we look at the person with disability, their vulnerability, they are dependent. And no one, this person depends on this person do anything that they want. And at the end of the day, it is the domestic violence that we are talking about. So they in one doesn't live in another. Thank you.
what could be the myths and misconceptions surrounding people with these disabilities?
Disability, there is a lot that is really
Mm,
not unbelievable, not true about disability. Because people look at these as, they call them names. Now, looking at a person with albinism, hmm, they believe they don't die.
mm,
Hmm? They believe
mm,
that men out there who are suffering from HIV are hunting for these people with albinism. They said that when you sleep with a person with albinism, you're cured of HIV. But this is a human person. It is just the color. Hmm? They believe that their
mm.
hair is a medicine to wealth. They're hunting for them. Even when they die, their graves are robbed to pick their remains, crushed into medicine that they give it out, which is not true. It is not true. They believe that they don't die, they just disappear. But why? Why do people believe that they disappear? When back then, people looked at albinism as, first of all, someone would wonder, where did this person come from? And now, our parents used to keep us. Now, looking at what people think that the hair and everything, the remains, when this person died, people would say, we don't know where the person is. You're getting the point? Simply because if they told you that she was buried the other side, you will go and
Yeah.
rob the grave and pick. So that is where they came up with that idea of saying that they disappear. Because when I come to you asking about so and so, Betty, who is an albino, who is Betty? You will say, I don't know. But the person has passed on. Now, if you go to another person and says, I don't know, that's when the name came that they disappear. But it's because they were hunting for them. But the reality is they don't disappear. So people are using these misconceptions to discriminate. They're not human. Balubale, the locally known, they call them Balubale. Someone is suffering from malaria, but the gods accepted. And now the gods of the whole family are concentrated on that person, which is not true. Thank you. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's also a saying that
Mm,
if someone, let's say, gives birth to a disabled person,
mm,
it's probably a punishment from God. I've heard of that. Then
mm.
also a family being cursed for you to have someone who is like that. Most especially families with people with albinism,
Albinism. Mm.
I would say. I don't know
Okay.
if you've heard of such stories.
Yes, I've heard of it, but it is not true. Why?
Yeah.
You know, albinism, it's not a disease. You're getting me? It's not a disease.
No,
We
no,
think
no, it's not
albinism
being
is
a
genetic.
disease, but
It's genetical. Because we've even seen cases where when a
yeah.
woman gives birth to a child with albinism, it is always put back to the woman. which is not true. You cannot give birth to a person with albinism when you don't have it in your genes. The two, the man and the woman, contributes to the bringing of an albino in the world. But this is genetical. That means the granny somewhere, if you dig deep, this person was there. But it takes time. It takes on revolving, and you, at the end of the day, you give birth to this person. It is not a curse. Because this is a human person. It's only that they lack. Thank God you were given the melanin, but I was not given. Hmm? I was not given. So that is where the difference is. The rest were all human beings. So it is not a curse. It is just like any other person. Because we've seen people with albinism. I have one colleague here with albinism, but all her kids are in dark color. So it is not a curse. This is a condition. That is where people get it wrong. Disability
Yeah.
is a condition. That's why we've changed the naming of calling disabled person. No, it is me, Betty, then the condition of disability. You get the point? So it is not a curse anywhere. It is
Yeah.
not a curse. This is a condition that lives, and we've seen people being discriminated when someone with disability enters your office. You don't see the person seated on the wheelchair. You see the wheelchair. But look, there is Betty in that wheelchair. Then the condition of my failure to walk, that condition has disabled me to walk. Okay, so it is not a curse. It is high time people understood.
Yeah.
It is high time people changed their attitude towards people with disability, because there is nothing. Person with albinism is a person. Uh, this is just a condition, and it is high time we accepted them, because you're not going to see me tomorrow today on a wheelchair, and tomorrow I'm off the wheelchair. Accept me who I am, because that is how I am until God takes me. Thank you.
Yeah. So how do we deal with such societies with who have this kind of mindset?
What we have to do is what we are doing right now. We have to sensitize people about it,
Focusing.
because some people do it because they lack information. And now, when it comes to albinism, that's why we are telling you that we've come up as women with albinism to tell you, we want you to understand what is albinism, because it is all about changing the mindset, changing the attitude. And we cannot change it if we keep quiet. If we sit in our homes, we have to sensitize community. We have to create awareness. When we are sensitizing community, if it comes, for example, violence, let us inform the would-be perpetrators. And let me tell you, uh, when it comes to violence, violence is coming from our families, where we come from. If the family members have failed to accept who you are, don't expect the neighbor to accept you. It starts from us. These men who pretend to fall in love with the people, I would say they pretend. Because why do I say that they pretend? Most men do not want to come up and identify with the person with a disability. But they come at night. They crawl in at night, do what they want, and come back early. In the morning, and someone tells you, I don't know you. You're getting the point. Can we really create awareness? Can we really spread the gospel together, you and me? Can we involve these men? Can they become champions? Because if they come to understand what disability is, if they come to accept who a person with disability is, you will not talk about violence. You will not. then these perpetrators should be
Okay.
punished. They should be punished because if we get someone who is violating a person with disability and is dealt with professionally, it will act as a lesson to the rest. Thank you.
Okay. So, the women and girls, would you describe how vulnerable, how they are risky to violence? These women and girls who are disabled.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What I have to tell you that women and girls with disability, they are at higher, 100% at risk of violence. Why? Because they are vulnerable in nature. Just as I said earlier, that these people, I'm looking at a person with a physical impairment, someone on a wheelchair. When a perpetrator comes, he will find something that is already there because she cannot run away. Hmm? Because of her vulnerability, she's prone to violence. A person with hearing impairment, yes, this person will beat them. Hmm? But even what happens to the police? The police will go there and they'll ask for evidence. She cannot produce evidence. And at the end of the day, is being battered at the end of the day. And she cannot report. This person is kept in that situation of being battered every day simply because she cannot go to police and produce evidence. Secondly, why they are at high risk, people with disability, poverty is one of the reasons as to why they are at high risk. These people with disability do not own anything. Even when you were born for, when they're giving out property, they'll give the three. You're left out. And when you're left out, you now have to be a dependent. You get the point? You have to depend on the others. And in the process of depending, because they know you don't have anything, and the disability is expensive. It is expensive. Look at someone with a spine injury. Needs diapers, needs those catheters, which are expensive. What does that mean? If she does not have them, that means this urine and everything will be passing. Now, for her to be able to get this, she has to accept to the terms, which includes violation. These people are battered. Says, nah, I'm helping you. Mhm. So the dependency that comes as a result of poverty, as a result that these people have been excluded in any economic initiatives, has led to that. These people are not taken to school.
Could you?
They are not taken to school. They're not educated. Hmm? That means if you're not educated, you cannot provide for yourself anything. You have to accept to the terms. Men. Hmm? Look at these people as a person with disability is helping you, and he says, if who will help you? Hmm? Just accept who will help you. All these people have grown looking at it that someone, when a man says, I love you, is helping me. So you have to be there, ready to be suppressed, simply because there is no one else who will come and pick you up. They're being battered all the time, violated economically, psychologically, physically. You get the point? Yeah.
So, there's something you didn't talk about, like the inaccessibility to legal counseling. I don't know if you've received cases where these people are denied such services.
I've said it that services, one of the things I talked of was evidence. Hmm? Now, if this person has been raped, these people will ask for the evidence. A person with hearing impairment will not produce evidence. More so when they come and pick you from your home, and take you up. I had a case in Luwuka where a woman told me that a man came and picked me from my home and took me to the bush, used me and dumped me there. This is a person who uses a wheelchair, but you're picked from your wheelchair. That means they've disabled you completely. You cannot move. You're left there. It's only the passers-by who helped. Now, when this person goes to police, the police will ask you who was there to see that. You getting the point? And now the police, our police will ask you for mafuta, to intervene in a case. Someone says, I want fuel. But this is a person who has been denied anything to own, does not own anything. Where will the person get the mafuta? Cases die like that. And these people are suppressed in violence all the time. Thank you.
I was thinking of a scenario. This is towards the medical treatments. For example, they were giving out the COVID-19 vaccines, and when you spoke of someone with a spinal disorder, I wonder how what they've done to consider this person to take this person to get that vaccine. Were these health workers moving into? Were they getting special treatment or what?
My dear, that was a challenge during COVID-19. Most of our beneficiaries, I would say, some just as I told you earlier, that men have used these women to cure themselves from HIV. So some people have contracted this in the process. Now the challenge was there where they said that there was a lockdown. We lost our beneficiaries with disabilities during the lockdown simply because they would not access the health centers. And now the social distancing thing, was also a problem because we, people with disabilities, are vulnerable and we are dependent. You cannot move on your own, you depend on someone. And now, if they said social distancing, it became a challenge to us. And actually, during COVID-19, people with disability were left out. That is what I can say. Because we were even some district where we were, and they were talking of the COVID task force. But even a person with disability was not represented. So accessing services became a problem. Other factors remaining constant. Even these health centers, the way they are constructed, they are not disability inclusive. There are no ramps. And you know, when I want to access your office and there is no an enabler, that means you've disabled me. Leave alone accessibility. The attitude of health workers up to now, it is still a challenge. Eh? I want to give you an example of someone being who is pregnant, goes to the health center, and this medical personnel is asking, why would you accept to get married? But remember what I told you, that some of these people are just raped. They've not consented. And now, this imagine this, you were raped. You were just raped. And you go to the health center and someone asks you why you accepted to get pregnant. Someone is igniting the pain you went through, and these people break down. That trauma that they go through, being raped, you did not consent. Someone picked you from your home, dumped you there. You go to the health center, someone says that. Okay? So, health as a department is still a challenge to us. And me and you can do something by advocating for the positive attitude. Let the health workers change the attitude towards people with disability. But they can only change if we sensitize them. They get to know. Health is still also a challenge. There are no sign language interpreters at the health centers. Someone will go with the problem, but simply because there is that communication gap, she cannot interpret what I'm saying. You can't interpret what I'm saying. There is a problem. You end up either prescribing what is not necessary or leaving me there till evening, and I find myself way back home without any attention. Thank you.
Okay. So how are we preventing this violence with these people? How do we
How we
prevent the
can
violence
prevent
that's happening with people with disabilities?
um how we can prevent violence, yeah? It is what I've just said, that when we involve the champions, the men or the perpetrators to be the champions, let these men, when we have initiatives, let it include caretakers, who would be protectors and as well as potential perpetrators. Let us educate them about disability. Let us introduce to them, let them know that as they have their human rights, we are equally entitled to these human rights. Because if someone is not informed, they will keep on doing the same, claiming I don't know. And maybe another way that we can prevent domestic violence, is to empower women with disabilities in this economic. Let us skill them in handling businesses, these small businesses. Let them start up, let them have their own. Because if I wake up in the morning and I know how to run my small business, I know I will get money for the diaper. And I will not depend on you. This dependency is one that has caused more harm than good. Because people do not have any source of income. They don't. They are always depending on you. But when I have a business, I know that I will get what I need, not through hustling. And let me tell you, people with disabilities are equally good businessmen and women. But it's only that people have categorized us somewhere. People are taking in on the charity model, pitting us. The aura is pitting us. Bambi, Bambi. We are beyond that. Can you talk up the social model where we look at disability is not a problem? The problem is the environment. If people come to realize that disability is not a problem, and the environment where we're living is the problem, and people change the environment, you cannot talk about disability. Because you will know that that is Betty, irrespective of her physical disability. She's Betty and she can do something. Having done that, you see me thriving. Okay? Um, Maybe the social norm change intervention. Hmm? Let us change the social norm, how women are taken. Eh? Let us come out from that where people think we were kept, we are suppressed, and let us have that opportunity. Allow us penetrate in everything that any other person is benefiting. If it is economic, if it is political, if it is, you will see that life is just the same. But simply because we are kept there, that's why you really see violence is rampant. Let us recognize the humanity in us, irrespective of the disability. Because I said that this is a condition. But can you imagine the condition is not there? And you see the Betty and leave alone the wheelchair? If we can do that, then you cannot talk about violence anymore. Thank you.
Okay. Um, Given that your organization basically deals with the people with disabilities, most especially on
Mm,
gender-based violence,
mm.
uh, what interventions have you done as an organization, and what can be done more that you would need support from, let's say, the government or other organizations that are also dealing with GBV issues?
Okay. We as IDUA, as far as GBV is concerned, we've done a lot. The first thing I told you is creating awareness. We've created awareness whereby we've talked about disability through radio talk shows, through community sensitization. We've composed the songs that talk about the effect of GBV on a person with disability. We've acted, we have drama to really prove, to show the world what people with disability go through as far as GBV is concerned, and to tell you what it can be, what we can do to eliminate it, to eliminate it. Mm? And I've talked about the negative attitude. We've had engagement with health workers on disability focused skills and support for GBV survivors. How do they treat a person with disability who is a survivor at their health center? When this person comes, how do you treat them? Because yes, someone without a disability can also be violated and is taken to the health center. But the way you handle the person with disability is different from the way you handle the person without disability. These people need at least another special care because now this person is in a trauma double. Mm? So we've trained them. We've also trained the health workers in early assessments. Sorry, senior women teachers in early assessment, signs identification and referral. Because it also comes back to the to education. People with disability, if they come, these people are being bullied. These people are being beaten. But how you as a teacher, how do you handle it? We did not end at that. We as Idiwa, we would wish to be there at that time when the incident happens. But it may happen when I'm in Iganga, it may happen when I'm in Kalilo, and the incident is in is in Iganga. Sorry, is in Mayuge. We've trained these women with disability. We trained 30 paralegals. We train them as paralegals. They can identify, they can refer, they can make follow-ups on the community where they are. We stipulated them in different sub-counties so that they can easy. They counsel themselves because these people with disability, some are violated and some have even thought of committing suicide. You getting the point? They want to die. But we've trained them as counselors. They go and counsel themselves. We did not end up that. Having talked of them committing suicide, we came up with a shelter. When we really realize that this person really is in the modes of committing suicide, we pick them out, take them in our shelter, keep them for some time, and while there, we bring counselors to counsel them, to compose them, and you see that they are transforming because you're battered, you're pushed to the margins, and the person with disability are being pushed to the margins, and someone feels this is the end of it all. We provide legal services. If someone is violated, the steps we take. We first of all intervene and find out what has happened. And if from the intervention, if it means the mediation that will bring both of them together, we mediate. And when the worst comes to the worst, we go to court. We provide legal services. We have a legal personnel on board that will take up a case as long as it is a person with disability being violated. And as EDWA, we are working an SGBV coordination network sub-region, Busoga sub-region, where we want to bring those people, those different organizations that are working on SGBV. Can we come as a network and we work together? And we are calling upon people to see that they become members to this network so that we can have it. It is GBV. If you're working with disability or not, but you're handling GBV, we can come together and fight this. I know we can't end it, but we can slowly by slowly eliminate it. And we cannot do it alone. That's why we say that we can come as a group, a network, and handle this GBV person out of Uganda. Thank you.
So what more can be done that you people are not doing that you feel this can be done to prevent such cases?
What I can do, what I can add is that if this coordination network is strengthened, it can help us in that there are some cases that really go beyond us as Idiwa, due to finances, due to because it may be so big for us as Idwa to handle. But when we come as a network, what Idwa can't handle, I believe Worry can handle it. What Worry can't handle, someone else can handle. So if we come together and we involve all the stakeholders, I think we can do better. I would say that we've not handled that so much, but together, if people really hear my call and we come together, we can do better. Yeah.
Because usually the challenge comes in when organizations find they focus on GBV issues, but people with disabilities require a special kind of treatment.
Yes.
And most organizations may not be well conversant with that kind of approach.
That is what I say, that when we come together, we shall identify what you can do better. And that's why I said we want very many organizations coming. We may be having it, you may be willing to help, but because you may not be knowing what to do. But together as a network, I will say you people, the problem is this. What can you do? Someone will say, for me, I can do this. The other one says, I can do this. What is needed? People will be there to tell you, I think as far as this is concerned, we need A, B, C, D. And together we can handle it. Because I know disability is expensive. But together, you can't do it alone, but together, we can make it better.
So has government, uh, thank you, Betty. I wanted you to briefly tell us about it because some people may not know where it is and how we
Okay.
can look you up. Yes.
Okay. IDUA is Integrated Disabled Women Activities. It is a non-government organization that was formed in 2000 by women and girls, parents of children with disabilities. After realizing that they've been discriminated for so long, they thought that coming together, they can make a voice. We are based in Iganga, Old Cairo Road, uh, near the offices of water supply. When you reach the signpost is just there. We are currently working in Iganga, Kamuli, Kaliro, Luuka, Mayuge. We are now going to Bujiri and Bugweri. uh, you can reach us on our email, which is idwa2009@gmail.com. Then our website is www.idiwayug.org. We also have a Facebook account, which is Idiwa NGO. We also have a Twitter, which is Idiwa NGO, with that Idiwa capital I, then capital N. You can reach us on 0772 44 92 70. Our doors are always open. We work with all categories of disability, all, as long as it's a woman and a girl, at 0 years, at 0 months. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Betty.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you
You're welcome.
everyone for tuning in our program, and to catch up with this conversation, you can go on our social media pages on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube, Women Rights Initiative, and on Twitter it's at Worry Women. Thank you.
Thank you.